Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Not the Right, where we call out the political hypocrisy, expose the power plays, and, honestly, just tell it like it is. I'm your fill-in host, Jake, and today, we're diving into why Mitch McConnell, Senate Minority Leader, might just be one of, if not the worst, human being in politics today. And no, that's not hyperbole. Now, why Mitch McConnell? Why is he up there in the political hall of shame? Well, let's just say, this man has built a career on gaming the system, stacking the deck, and undermining democracy, while smirking the whole way through. Buckle up, folks, because today's deep dive might just leave you shaking your head at how one man can do so much damage. Let's start with Exhibit A, the Supreme Court heist of 2016. Do you remember when Justice Antonin Scalia passed away? It was February, 9 months before the election. Barack Obama was president. You'd think, hey, time to fill a seat, right? Wrong. Enter Mitch McConnell with a brand new rule he just pulled out of thin air. The American people should have a voice in the selection of their next Supreme Court justice, he said. And with that, he blocked Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland. There wasn't even a hearing, let alone a vote. Democracy? Who needs it, right? But here's the kicker. 3 years later, the same situation arises under Trump. Now, Mitch is asked if he'd block a nomination in an election year again. Want to know what he said? Oh, we'd fill it. And they did. They rushed through Amy Coney Barrett's nomination like it was Black Friday and the Supreme Court was on sale. The hypocrisy is almost impressive if it wasn't so blatantly corrupt. But wait, it gets worse. Because McConnell's legacy isn't just stealing Supreme Court seats. Oh no, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's talk about how he packed the federal judiciary with white men, many of them underqualified, mind you, during Trump's administration. The man wanted to fill every possible seat with conservative ideologues who'll outlast him by decades. And he did it with the same ruthless efficiency. He didn't care about the qualifications, he cared about the ideology. And spoiler alert, it wasn't to protect the people, but to secure conservative power for as long as possible. And if you think McConnell's bad when he's stacking the courts, wait until you hear about his role in obstructing, well, everything. In 2010, Mitch literally vowed that his top priority was making Obama a one-term president. Not working on the economy, not fixing healthcare, nope, just obstruction 24/7. When Obama won a second term, Mitch made it clear again, he's going to block everything he can, including gun safety regulations, voting rights, and even campaign finance reform. This man isn't interested in governing, he's interested in holding the country hostage for political gain. Speaking of hostages, let's talk about how he turned the debt ceiling into one. Back in 2011, McConnell figured out that he could use the threat of default as leverage. It's a hostage worth ransoming, he said. He turned the debt ceiling into a political football and has kept it in play ever since. Shutdowns, threats of default, they've all become normal under McConnell's reign. And for what? To make sure nothing progressive ever sees the light of day. In fact, he's proud of it. He calls himself the Grim Reaper of progressive legislation, promising to kill any meaningful reform. Climate change? Nope. Healthcare expansion? Not on his watch. He's made sure that anything remotely progressive dies in the Senate. And then he pats himself on the back for it. Let's not forget, folks, he voted to acquit Trump after the January 6th insurrection. Now, don't get me wrong, he gave a speech right afterward where he called Trump's actions disgraceful. But then he turned right around and voted to let him off the hook. Because for Mitch, it's always too late to do the right thing. Unless it's time to pack a court or block some legislation. Oh, and for those of you who care about campaign finance reform, you can thank Mitch McConnell for killing that too. He fought against any efforts to get money out of politics, even though at the start of his career, he called money in politics a cancer. But when that same cancer helped him and his allies stay in power, he changed his tune real quick. Suddenly, money wasn't a cancer, it was his best friend. And of course, let's not forget his love affair with the NRA. This man has pulled down over $1 million from the NRA while blocking every single effort to pass gun safety laws.
school shootings, mass shootings. As long as the checks keep clearing, Mitch doesn't care. He's blocked background checks, limits on assault weapons. You name it, he's killed it.
Now, I could go on for hours about how he's made it harder for people to vote, how he's abandoned his own coal miners in Kentucky, or how he stood in front of a Confederate flag with a big ol' smile. But here's the thing, guys. Mitch McConnell isn't just bad for Kentucky or bad for Democrats. He's bad for democracy itself. This man has spent decades stacking the system, blocking progress, and making sure that the people who need the most help get the least from their government. And that's why Mitch McConnell might just be the worst human being in politics today. Thanks for listening, folks. If you liked this episode, or if you just really don't like Mitch McConnell, don't forget to subscribe and share. Until next time, and remember, stay informed, stay vocal, and don't let the Mitch McConnells of the world win.